Hey, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. In times of instability, when the news cycle feels like an endless stream of bad, confusing, frustrating stories, it can be tempting to tune it all out, to look away. And I get it. Listen, there's a reason why we feature as much fiction as we do on the podcast. But in today's interview, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says that it's times like these when it's important to do the opposite, to lean in and engage in civic life. He's got a new memoir out titled Where We Keep the Light. And if you're thinking, hey, wait, a rising politician coming out with a book? Surely this points towards some future intentions, maybe towards a run for higher office? Don't worry, NPR's Scott Detrow asks him about just that after the break.
This message comes from Babbel. Babbel's conversation-based language technique teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world. With lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/NPR. Spelled BABBEL.com/NPR. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Not long after Josh and Lori Shapiro collapsed into bed on night one of their Passover Seder at the Pennsylvania governor's residence last year, they heard a banging on their door and shouting, "Fire."
Your initial reaction in that split second is, make sure my wife and kids are safe. Follow the directions of the police and the firefighters.
Standing outside the historic building in Harrisburg, watching it burn, the first-term Democrat says he naturally started wondering what had started the fire.
To be honest with you, in the first minutes, we assumed that there was a fire in the kitchen or some accident that led to this. It wasn't until a few moments later where we learned that it was a targeted attack. And my first reaction was, how do I explain this to my kids?
This is the story that opens up Shapiro's new memoir. It's called Where We Keep the Light. We sat down recently in his hometown on the campus of Penn State Abington to talk about the fire, about how Shapiro has been more public about his Jewish faith, and about how he has confronted anti-Semitism that has flared since the October 7th attacks and the war in Gaza that followed.
My views on the Netanyahu government were the same pre-October 7th and post-October 7th, in that I thought he's a bad leader. I thought he's taken Israel down a dangerous and isolated path, and I don't get a vote there, but certainly I'd like to see a different government, and I hope the people of Israel do that. I also think he was undermining U.S. interests at times as well. I think anti-Semitism is a separate conversation in many ways. And, you know, for me, post-October 7th, seeing the fear in some people's eyes about living openly their faith and practicing openly their faith, the number of people who came over to me and said how scared they were and how they found comfort in the fact that I could live openly with my faith in the position that I'm in, it put on me, and I guess I put this on myself, a feeling of responsibility to be open about who I am, to speak out about anti-Semitism, and to be purposeful about doing that work.
From there, we quickly pivoted to talk about the story here in the U.S. that is hard to look away from. ICE's sweeping immigration raids in Minneapolis and the clashes between agents and protesters. And a note, we talked before Alex Preddy was shot and killed in the street when one or more federal agents opened fire.
When Donald Trump deploys, whether it's the National Guard or ICE, into a community where a mayor or a governor does not want them there, he immediately erodes the trust that exists in a community. And instead of making communities safer, which is what they claim they want to do, they actually create danger in a community. You saw that with the loss of life of Renee Good. And so to me, this is about community safety, public safety, first and foremost. And this president is eroding that trust. From my vantage point as a governor, what can I do? Number one, where they deploy troops against the law, I will take them to court to stop them. I've been very vocal about not letting the president take the Pennsylvania National Guard away from my command and deploy it for other purposes. And so far, we've been successful at that. Second, we have strong law enforcement, obviously through Pennsylvania State Police, but also with our municipal police departments that we coordinate closely with. We do not want ICE coming in, eroding that trust. I think what you're seeing with ICE are people who are being dispatched to a community violating the constitutional rights of individuals. What you see with ICE are people who are harming that trust and making communities less safe.
Shapiro's also thinking about another potential looming confrontation between the Trump administration and state governments, this fall's election.
We know that they are going to try and undermine the midterms again with their conspiracy theories and with their bogus lawsuits. We will be prepared again. We are already seeing them try to undermine the rule of law and undermine our elections. Let me explain. They demanded, all of the private voter information for Pennsylvanians, about 9 million or so registered Pennsylvania voters. And by the way, not just Scott Detrow and what party you're registered for and how many times you voted, that's publicly available. But all of Scott's private information that the state has a legal responsibility to protect. We refuse to turn that over because I believe they're going to use it for nefarious purposes. Mm-hmm. And we were sued by the Department of Justice to compel us to provide that information. We still haven't. We're going to continue to battle in court to protect the private information of the citizens of Pennsylvania. That's just one example of how I believe they're preparing to ramp up to trying to undermine the midterms. And I think these midterms are incredibly important. And
they're important to you. You're on the ballot.
I am on the ballot, but I think it is broader in me. And I hope the good people of Pennsylvania return me to this position, which I just feel honored to serve them in. But I think right now you have people who, and I'm sure you've heard this too, who can't, I mean this with the most respect, who can't handle the news, who just want to shut it off. And they want to pull the covers over and they want to retreat. And what I would say to them is now is a time to engage, not to retreat. And the best way we can engage is by using our power. Sometimes our power is engaging with people online. But for all of us, the power we have is the power to vote. And so whether you're privileged to live in a swing state like Pennsylvania or be in one of these swing districts, of which we've got 4 of them here in our Commonwealth, or even if you're in one of these 80-20 districts, show up and vote in record numbers, and that will send a message that we do not accept the chaos and the cruelty and the corruption of this administration.
You're running for governor right now. You're running for re-election. This is the type of book that people write when they're thinking about running for president in 2 years. How are you thinking about 2028 at this moment in time?
I wrote this book because I think our politics are not meeting the moment or the needs of the people that a whole bunch of politicians represent. What do I mean by that? I travel across this Commonwealth and more across the country, and I just see goodness. Mm-hmm. I see people who are bringing light in their communities every single day, solving problems. I write about a number of the people in this book. And I wrote this book, which of course was interrupted in many ways by the arson attack, where we saw not only extreme darkness, but extraordinary light. Yeah. And I wrote this book to speak to that. And I think it is important, I hope people will read this, to recognize that our politicians need to do a better job of listening to the people and learning from the great example that the people set in their communities every day. As for the future, you talk about the sort of heart and soul of the Democratic Party and what's that going to look like. I want to have a voice in shaping that. Yeah. I want to have a voice in shaping that as governor of Pennsylvania. I'm grateful for the chance to talk to someone like you about that. But I don't think anyone can look past the immediate term here. This year, all of the challenges I have as governor just of Pennsylvania and other leaders have in their jurisdictions, but most importantly, these midterm elections. And that's all I'm going to focus on. That's all I think anyone should be focused on.
Josh Shapiro, Governor of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, thank you so much for talking to us.
Good to be with you. Thank you.
You can watch our full interview with Shapiro on NPR's YouTube channel.
This message comes from Betterment. Their automated investing and saving tools give you the quiet confidence of someone who knows where to put their money. With tax-smart tools that help grow your after-tax returns year-round. Get started today at Betterment.com. That's BetterMent.com. Investing involves risk. Performance not guaranteed. Betterment is not a tax advisor, nor should any information herein be considered tax advice. Please consult a qualified tax professional.
This message comes from BetterHelp. During February, it can feel like everyone has it all together in their love lives. But the truth is, most people are still figuring it out. Take the pressure off and feel lighter in therapy. Visit BetterHelp.com/NPR for 10% off. This message comes from Easy Cater, the workplace food platform. Easy Cater helps organizations order food from favorite restaurants, meet dietary needs, and stay on budget. With employee meal programs, flexible payment options, and 24/7 customer support, all on one platform. Learn more at easycater.com.